leaving up Kai'Sa, Caitlyn, and Xayah Rakan, just so there's this gigantic pool of AD carries left. But I don't think it'll happen soon. I think people have to figure out what they can do against Kai'Sa. Because if you ban Kai'Sa and then it's Caitlyn for Xayah Rakan, we saw it last game. First pick Rakan comes through, and then you just end up having to trade or at least take the worst AD carry.
Snowflower Rakan was already pretty nasty in game one, and giving that up as well also feels difficult. Swain does get taken off the board. Pentagram, last ban. Do they just ban the Rakan? Do they just take it away?
If you ban Rakan, they take Morgana or Caitlyn.
And then you have to take your bot lane, right? Yeah, it's
if they take Caitlyn, you have to take Morgana, usually. Karma's also not bad either, so Rakan may be something that you go ahead and you ban. Like you said, I think it's potentially the Rakan or the Caitlyn, and you just push them down, but oh.
Morgana. All right, interesting choice. I want to see what this leads to next for Pentagram and how SuperMassive want to respond. I have a feeling it will be the Rakan, Irene. I cannot imagine a reason not to pick it.
Yeah. Just such a great engaged champion. Enhances the damage of the Xayah, forces you to kind of pick Xayah yourself, or you say, nope, we're going to go pick something else. Karma, Tristana, could be a lane they go for, but...
And Pentagram, they did well with the Xayah Alistar, but if they make that same rotation here, after seeing Snowflower's Rakan, after seeing the work that it put in, gotta wonder what they're thinking.
They're thinking that it wasn't their fault, and they're going to try to go for the salty run back, right? The game was pretty even up until the point where the Barons got taken, and that comes down to vision control, not so much execution.
That's something a little bit different. The Karma, a very big priority pick.
Helps you shove a lot. Also, you can put it in that mid lane for Ramune, so flex pickable.
True. Movement speed steroid as well, especially good against the Rakan. And the delay on that grand entrance.
The Ivern and hover there for Stomage.
I can't trust him after that Rumble hover, though. Got some scattered applause. I know, guys. Skarner, the meta pick. It's still fun to call Skarner a meta pick, though. I smile every time. Never thought we'd see it, but there it is. Skarner in the jungle for Stomage. Won't see the Ivern this time around, and I imagine we will see an AD carry locked in here. It feels like we've got a pretty formulaic pick ban at this point in the tournament, Zyrene.
Caitlyn? Ooh. Okay. GP in a different slot, I guess. Just make sure that Paz doesn't get it because it's such a great champion. Fat Fabulous played it earlier today. Was a takeaway for him up against Chippies, and he did well on it. It's all about focusing that bottom lane.
And I like that they're enabling Fat Fabulous again, and it feels good when you're on the side of Supermassive and you go, hey, Zeitnot, our big star, he's okay playing anything. He doesn't need that Caitlyn if they're going to ban it away. He can take something else in the lane and be comfortable. But now we see that it's going to be the Karma mid lane and the Alistar Xayah bottom lane. So if he gets stuck playing an immobile AD carry like a Varus or something else, this could be a very difficult bottom lane to survive.
It's true. The Caitlyn ban is what you expect. The Tristana may be another ban that comes through just because I think she's kind of your backup mobility. But I think Zeitnot's fine with playing Ezreal too. So I think no matter what, he has options. But we'll see what happens here. The Rakan, though, already the makings of a good bottom lane. Rakan so far at MSI is 100% pick ban and 83% win rate.
This champion is insane, folks. All in the support pool. And I want to see what exactly the strategy is now as they round out these compositions, how they want to round out their AD carry pool, and really how Pentagram fire back. Now, they've taken away the Ezreal, they've taken away the Caitlyn, they're taking away every AD carry with some kind of escape they can imagine. They want to hit home on this Alistar. Supermassive debating on that final ban. The Trundle already taken off the board, so the jungle pool limited for Pentagram and for once.
I wonder the last ban here. Trying to push Once's champion pool down. Don't know if it'll be Olaf. Sejuani's garbage now. So we don't even see her.
Sad, blunt, and true.
I mean, as a Sejuani player, she is not very good right now. But I still play her.
Just love tanks, Irene.
Yeah, I mean,
it's your addiction.
I love her, but Zach is kind of the one that jumps up as kind of the next one past this tier. Unless you want to go for something like Graves, very playable. I actually think Lee Sin is playable on this patch too. He got compensation buffs multiple times.
Across it. And I like seeing the Zach, though, for once, putting less of the carry burden, less of the damage burden on this guy, and giving him that engage potential.
It also means if they don't pick something like Tristana here, if it's like a Varus or a Jhin, it becomes really dicey. because this low mobility AD carry is going to have a lot of
That's
people
some
off.
soft lane. That's a living hell for Varus. Watching a Zac and an Alistar on the enemy team, because you see Rakan, and he's great at a lot of things, but getting people away from the AD carry, definitely not one of them. Ryze now the lock-in, presumably for GBM in the mid lane, going toe-to-toe with the Karma in the early game, and one final pick to round it out. You know, we were talking to Spawn backstage. He says he feels like the Varus really strong pick despite the changes to the kit.
I think he said it was the strongest AD carry on this patch.
Jhin, on the other hand, very mixed performances over in Group A.
I think it's fine,
though. Locked in for Zaynot, so a little bit more utility in the bottom lane, whereas you expect the bruiser kind of carries from mid and top.
Well, Jhin is incredibly good with either the GP or the Ornn, because it basically starts the team fight for you, makes it so the curtain call is pretty much going to land. So those are kind of the combinations you look for. When there's a bottom focus and you're focused and you just have like your top laner helping with an ultimate, it does actually become a good pick for setting up fights.
Gnar now locked in to deal with Fab Fabulous on the top side. On the GP, Zyrene, I see so much CC on the side of Pentagram. And a lot of tanky options. But it looks like Yutori Moyashi in the late game versus the world in terms of damage burden.
Yeah, they might get an Ardent Sensor. I'm surprised that they ended up putting the Karma mid so early and showing the Alistar when they could have actually gone into the next ban phase with them not knowing exactly what was going to get picked up there, right? Like if you pick the Trundle instead of the Alistar, what are they going to ban? Supports or mid laners, right? And then you can pivot there. So I thought the pick ban from Pentagram, they kind of dropped the ball there and made it so the composition is really on Yutori Moyashi's shoulders. Whereas SuperMassive, again, low tank composition for them. They played this earlier today. It's about focusing the bottom lane and making sure that they use their semi-globals because they have both a Ryze and a GP which can affect the bottom side.
You got to imagine Skarner setup on top of the Rakan with the Jhin as well. That's going to be an easy lane to gank, something to counter back the Alistar Xayah combo. We're going to have to see how it works out. Pentagram looking to find their first win. SuperMassive looking to move up to 2-0 in the group so far. Is this a chance for the LJL to turn around their fate thus far? Or is SuperMassive going to continue to prove to be the dominant force in Group B?
I mean, LJL, they have to shake off that first loss. That was one where it came down to the macro play. Their slow style wasn't working out for them, and they got beat at their own game. So I want to see if they change things up. It's a little more team fight oriented instead of pick composition this time, so that will definitely benefit them. But they have to get through the laning phase because SuperMassive are set up to focus bottom. The pretty much sole damage dealer for Pentagram is Yutori, so he has to make it out alive.
What's going to happen? We're going to find out. SuperMassive on the blue side, Pentagram once again on the red. Will they recover? We've seen what Fab Fabulous can do on the GP. We got a couple new picks as well. Snowflower still at home on the Rakan. Alistar rinse and repeat the bot lane for Pentagram. Of course, Ramune a little bit safer in the mid lane. Not quite the aggressive matchup that he had the previous time. Zoe versus LeBlanc. Still has to be careful, though. Got to give GBM that respect, especially after that Vladimir performance.
Yeah, and Ryze did take some nerfs, mostly mana cost, and then also his pretty much core item of the Archangel staff doesn't give him as much. It was 3%, now it's 1% in terms of the maximum mana. So a little bit less strong. So Ryze kind of fell out of like the permaban status. But I was talking to some players and they were saying you can still play Ryze, you just have to be a Ryze player, right? It can't be something that you pick up now. You have to be pretty adept at it.
And the thing for GBM is that
I mean, he's played so many champions.
Plays literally every. I just assume that GBM is an everything player at this point in his career. I mean, in NA, it was the Ziggs and the Xerath that were the kind of the standouts. Of course, the Alawi mid as well. Just yeah, this guy's a mad scientist in the mid lane.
He played 17 unique champions this split in the mid lane. Things like the Veigar came out. He played the Alawi. He even played some Twisted Fate, too, and Ziggs this split.
He's the only one in the professional game, in the professional scene of League of Legends who knows anything about the Alawi mid matchup outside of the one guy he played against.
And all that guy knows is that Alawi mid is a thing.
He learned that he was not getting trolled, and it was, in fact, a solid pick.
It looks like Ramune went to go check where Stonehenge was, and so now confirmed with the ward that, yeah, he started on the top side, no leash on the bottom, just to allow the lane to kind of get there early. And that helps Zaynot and Snowflower push up and get some early advantage here so that they can actually... oh, wait, hold on.
Is he looking for a little bit of an invade? The vision is there, the red buff up and available. Zac We'll have to go to the opposite side of the jungle if he wants to contest, but I'm not even sure if Once knows that this is happening. He's walking back to his red buff.
He's super low because he did 3 camps. He cleared his Grom.
And now he's going to Raptors. This is just going to get taken away for free. And if Skarner wants to walk into this Zac, I don't know if he's going to push for anything aggressive here, but this is a tough spot for Once to be in. Skarner can walk over. Isn't going to take it. Once will clear out safely, but Stomage just getting a buff for free, completely uncontested. And Once, yeah. Well, you see the ward debris there, and you realize that you might have made a mistake. And
that's such a weird. I don't think I've seen that route from a Zac. Like you get a leash on your blue, and okay.
Oh, Chain CC comes in bot lane. Snowflower going to take the ignite, but
Tori wants more.
Well, Auto not going to connect the 4-shot for Zeitnot, kind of pushes them back, and no heal forced out. Will just be pots traded, but 2 summoners on the side of Pentagram already burned, so Supermassive definitely taking control on the bottom side of the map, and Yutori Moyashi just really suffering in these early levels. We saw it in the previous game as well.
Yeah, and the fact that they didn't have to leash on the bottom side for Supermassive meant that they get a little bit of an advantage, but once on the top side, Fabulous
is just going to flash right out. Heals up with the grasp.
They get the flash, though, which makes it so that that next gank will be a little bit more effective, and it's a Gnar, so should have some pressure there.
GBM trying to extend these trades despite being out of mana, presumably hoping to go back for that early tier. Will be forced to clear out the wave, and at least for now, Ramune has that mid priority. We want to see a more aggressive early game from Pentagram, and at least in this game, Once has been a bit more active, but is definitely getting a little bit dunked in terms of the jungle CS, is already 2 camps behind.
Yeah, the Skarner went for the fast farm. Once, I mean, I actually need to talk about this a little bit more because that was a horrible route from him. And when he was even on his bottom side, when we saw him at like 150 HP, he hadn't even used any of his 2 potions in his inventory. So that's just kind of like irresponsible of a jungler to not be using your potions while you're clearing, to not be actually like having more HP, because then that leaves you open and exploitable. That's exactly what happened. His route was exploitable, his HP was in an exploitable place so he couldn't contest. It honestly is a bit appalling, to be honest.
It's a difficult spot for sure for Once, and I think the thing is we wanted to see more from him, and it has not come in the early game. We have to wonder if it's going to come a little bit later, if there's something he can do on this Zac, this team fighting kind of pick. Because for now, Stomage is looking to get this uncontested. Once wants a chance for redemption, he could steal this one away, but I don't think he's going to make it here in time. Instead, still focused on clearing a jungle and trying to keep up.
The Skarner starts it. He can't finish it by himself, especially a Cloud Drake. It's the highest DPS Drake. So Once doesn't know that's going on. The bottom lane shoves up, and then they help. And they pick up that early Cloud.
And so far, so good for the side of Supermassive. Of course, Pentagram with a small gold lead, mostly due to the Karma in the mid lane continuing to push out. But as we move further in the game, we have to see what more Pentagram can offer us, because we've seen Supermassive already kind of show that each of their individual members can contribute to the one game, and Pentagram still feeling a little bit scattered, a little bit lost. Of course, Paz, he is on that comfort pick, so maybe he is the member that can make a difference this time around. Much more power, I think, in the individual lane phase than Shen may have offered him later in the game.
I wonder if he TP's back now. Got the Ninja Tabis, which were nerfed a while ago. Yeah, he TP's back. So really defensive build against the GP, which really wants to scale, but I think he's more worried about when the GP gets the Sheen, what that's going to look like. So just being a little bit more defensive, but I feel like with the flash down, that's your time to build a little bit more offensive. And, ooh. Okay, just a fast clear. Fabulous is trying to shove this wave so that he can back. And potentially, yeah, he has the gold to get the Sheen, so he's looking for exactly that power spike that I was talking about. And so Paz wasn't contesting the wave with his defensive itemization. Ultimate comes out from Fabulous, and he gets to have a good back timer without having to use TP.
The GP all bit of a long cooldown this early in the game. 150 seconds remaining now. Have to wonder if that'll count against him, if they could find a better use for it. But for now, pushes out the wave, puts himself in a better position for himself. But what is it going to cost the team is always the question when you use a global like that in such close proximity.
And right now, I think he has to take care of himself first because of the fact that he blew that flash very early on. He doesn't have to worry too much about like Paz, because he's going to have Fabulous is going to have TP before Paz does. So I actually think it's completely fine.
Yeah, generally just feels slower paced games today. I think teams just...
Well, yesterday was pretty much a slaughterhouse. It was just constant fighting.
People wanted to fight, people wanted to invade, and it seems like both these teams, of course, pushing each other back and forth. No one lane really dominating the other. Now, Snowflower and Stomage ready to go in, though. Ready to punish once again. And Stomage clearly still in control of the jungle. And actually, the CS lead just continuing to grow between these junglers. Of course, the Dragon counts as 4 CS, but it's 25 gold, so not the biggest gold difference, but you can just tell how dominant the Skarner is here early on.
Yeah, the Skarner very fast at power clearing. The top lane, Paz though, is he gonna? Yeah, he's gonna jump in. Whoop.
Good patience from Fabulous. Doesn't use anything else. Paz, of course, using the burst damage of the Mega Gnar, now can return to the poke of Mini, so he's in a decent spot pushing this lane forward and has the vision necessary to sustain this. And Skarner nowhere in the area, this bottom on the bottom side, so he knows he can keep the pressure up. The thing I think you have to be scared of is we've seen what happens when Fabulous gets mid-late game. Sorry. We know how good he is at the GP for this team if he can get out of this laning phase. And if you're Paz, I imagine there's a lot of pressure on you, feeling like you're playing a little bit against the clock here.
Yeah, it kind of had to be aggressive in this matchup, have a large CS lead. He's getting some of a lead here, but when that TP comes back up and when the ultimate comes up from Fabulous, which about the same time that'll happen, that's when you really have to worry about your bottom side of the map as Paz, because you really have no way to help them out during that kind of window. I'm going to check right now how long it actually is, where Fabulous in about 20 seconds will have his ulti, and it's 120 seconds before Paz has his TP. Look at this mid lane. Actually, Ramune, they're tracking him.
Oh, Ramune. Walk around the corner, get stunned, the chain CC, the ulti going to be used to follow up. Not even a moment to click the flash. Taken out for first blood. Solid play coming in from Stomage.
And it's just the warding from Supermassive has just been fantastic so far in the 2 games that they've played. Stomage was able to see Ramune go for a ward after pathing through and just picks him up. He's none the wiser. The Skarner is literally in his face when he turns the corner. We'll see it right here. Yeah, he went for the ward there. He's tracking him. Has a ward, and it's just like, hello. Where did he, like, that's one where it's kind of a jump scare. It's like, where did he come from? He's right in his face, and then the chain CC comes out.
Look, man, that's everybody's nightmare, the Skarner around the corner. Especially when you feel so safe. You're being a diligent mid laner, Zyrene. You're placing vision. And if you had placed it, 15, 20 seconds sooner,
you would have run into him.
Yeah, you would have run into him. You'd have stopped that from happening, probably.
Oh, speaking of running into him.
Fabulous going to try to make it out over the wall. Wants nothing to auto-attack, sadly.
Yep. And that's the TP. I mean, sorry, not TP. That's the flash being back up for Fabulous. So the repeat gank comes back a little bit too late. It's just kind of the route that once was taking. So he tries to get something back. He does get the flash, though, which once again helps out Paz, right? Allows him to have pressure in this lane and not have to worry about getting killed or chunked down too much.
Once again, does help Paz. Now Paz, I think, has to be the center of attention because he is starting to build himself up a CS lead, but Fabulous is still comfortable in terms of these individual trades. Grass keeping him nice and healthy. And the bottom side suffering on the side of Pentagram. We'll take a look at the builds, check in on Zeitnot.
I think Paz missed his ulti. I think that's what happened there. Oh, wait, no, he used it on minions. That's why. Okay. I was like, I think...
A lot of wave clear ultis in this top lane matchup.
Yeah, actually. Again, tried to make it so he doesn't have to TP back. Yeah, you're right.
One thing that I do want to pick your brain about is this Jhin build. We've seen Swifties and the Rapid Fire Cannon yesterday, and it felt a little weird to me. I'm so used to seeing the Essence Reaver. And if we see that again, what is the logic behind that kind of build?
Which one? This one?
So the Swifties into Rapid Fire Cannon.
Oh, so it's a boots start. So you start boots potions to survive the lane phase, and the idea is if you can get to the person with your 4th shot, that's better than having a little bit extra DPS, right? A little bit extra, like, 6 AD or 8 AD that you would have from a starting item. So it's just better to be able to get the 4th shot off. Then you get the Swifties to dodge out and keep yourself in a range where the Alistar can't get to you. You can kind of dip and dive in these situations. And then also when you get your 4th shot, you can run up and then you're faster than them, so you'll eventually close the gap. Like so many Jins, when they don't go this build, they're like, 3 pixels away and they're like chasing the person with a flipping gun, like, come back here. And so once you have the Swifties, because no other AD really buys Swifty boots, you'll have that advantage and pretty much get your 4th shot off every time.
Yeah, and it's not going to be the rapid fire. This cannon is just going for the Zeal, a little bit more movements to make it even easier to walk up or walk out in the case if he wants to avoid that Zaya. So Zeitnot feels like adapting to the specific matchup rather than going with some kind of cookie cutter build.
Yeah, and when you don't have like an inbuilt mobility tool, hold on though. Well, once that's okay. Awkward gank route. When you don't have a mobility tool like we talked about, like, oh, Caitlyn, Tristana have ways to get out, you need mobility from your boots. As much as you can possibly get in the thick of a fight.
It is true. We talked about this being a Varus' worst nightmare. It's also kind of a Jin's worst nightmare in terms of compositions to play up against. But if he gets fast enough, Cyrene, that's what you're telling me. He has to get fast. Well, unfortunately, Snowflower Actually is going to be fast enough. Once gone, can't quite get the CC down, don't have the damage there to back it up, and Zeitnot continues to play fearlessly in the lane, building himself up a nice lead.
Yeah, they actually got the flash out of both supports there, but that was the ignite from Gang, so slight advantage over to SuperMassive, who are now going to start up on this second Clown Drake for themselves.
Really solid to have. We've already seen how difficult it is for Pentagram, even with the Zac, to lock down one of their targets. Zeitnot. They just get locked up. Beautiful CC. Yutori Moyashi wants to bring it back. The rest of the team now coming in. Snowflower. Are they going to turn this engage around? Rise coming down as well. SuperMassive with a beautiful collapse. Once is in the middle of everybody, and out comes the curtain call. Firing shots across the team, hitting the Zac blobs as well. Taking his time as GBM grabs the kill. Another one drops in the favor of SuperMassive. A fantastic turn.
Yeah, and this is the composition. It's bottom lane focus here from SuperMassive. You saw the GP ultimate. That was also GBM's ultimate, the Realm Warp coming through. So everybody is helping out here on the bottom side, and that's where they're going to get this advantage here.
Now for it, though. Trying to push in for another tower. Backs coming out. The bot lane going to leave. Looks like both sides actually content to retreat here and see what they can do from this, because for GBM, this is a dream. You get the tier, you've got the Roa as well, while you're still waiting for Ramone to finish his first item. And he's always just going to be able to push out, just like we saw there.
He's constantly being able to push and then get the roam advantage. Like, he's up right now in levels, and you see here, yeah, he's able to just rotate faster. He's already on his way to help with the Drake. But then when Zeitnot gets engaged on, that's the pivot, right? Is they didn't expect Zeitnot to get engaged on. They were already just doing the Drake and had priority. So that's more on Pentagram for starting that fight off and not having the engaged stick. Gets turned around on them. GBM's able to come through and finish that one off.
There's just not a lot of room. PGM have burned too many of their aggressive cooldowns, and once the Zac and the Alistar are kind of out of those initial phases, it's not like they have fantastic follow-up.
Yeah. What you have to do now as Pentagram is Jhin burn flash. You have to repeat gank. Once can't go, okay, that sucks, I'm going to go sell somewhere else. You already invested some effort and time into this lane. If you go somewhere else, they have flashes. GBM and Fat Fabulous both do. It's worse to go for those lanes than it is to just repeat gank bottom. And because you also have this Alistar that could potentially set up that gank and make it really easy. And SuperMassive have to kind of feel that it's coming, right?
You have all the CC in the world, Cyrene. You just got to make it happen. Got to see once, clean up the path a little bit, get that clean gank off. The beautiful Zac plays we've seen, we know we can see.
Oh, this is a rotation here. It looks like a rotation towards mid. The blue being handed off, and wow.
And they're buying time. They're just forcing responses. Okay, PGM forced to commit members to the mid lane, but it's all just a diversion. Stomage just takes away the Rift Herald uncontested.
I was on the same page as once there, because he walks into the bush, and it's just like, there's got to be a ward here. Something saw him. He just barely got spotted by a ward right below him when he went for that. Otherwise, they would have stuck around, because no Jhin walks up to a mid lane turret, hits it once, and then is okay. But hold on. Yutori wants it.
Snowflower is going to manage to make it out. The quickness taking him to safety, and Zeitnot, that's the extra movement speed. Not gonna waste any more shots. Of course, barely able to make it on, but heal and flash burn from Yutori Moyashi. So despite being down summoners, Cyrene, Zeitnot and Snowflower still come out on top.
Yeah, they tried to make the play. They tried to make it on a Snowflower, though, when he goes in, and then he just is able to turn it around and get himself out. But the summoner spells, like you said, definitely favor SuperMassive now.
And there's this window, man, where you see Zeitnot all alone. Maybe they can dive him. There's no recon there to disrupt the engage. But GBM is going to be topside. A nice little bait and switch for Paz. He thought he was walking away from both targets. Is going to bring it home, though, in the end. GBM now on a killing spree. There's the Alistar dive on the bottom side. Yutori Moyashi wants to step forward, but there's Stomage. No way out of that one. He does have the ult. Will he get a chance to use it? Does not look like it. Zeitnot low, but he's got the curtain call, and once he can run for his life, he may be unstoppable, but he is not unkillable. Gang following in suit. That's a curtain call to be proud of. 6-0 to SuperMassive.
And they have killed everyone on the map at least once. They have just shut down Pentagram in all their lanes. That was a play across both sides of the map. They were able to make a play topside. So well done by GBM. I love the fact that he set it up, didn't take the Realm Warp, and then the TP comes out to go bottom side and help out there. They are dominating the map.
The game now blown wide open. They can start to break these towers. They're actually going to back off on the bottom lane. not wanting to risk anything else. And one more time for GBM. Fantastic game.
Paz, you already used the leap, so that's the opportune time to go in. And then he's like, okay, I'm not going to go through the 2 ultimates. And he flashes right to GBM, who they didn't see because the vision control is just nowhere to be seen for Pentagram on the top side. And then here, they look like they're going to go after him. Then they stun lock Yutori, and he doesn't even get his ultimate off. He had the ultimate available, but he doesn't see that Stone Mage is going to come in and ulti. He just gets picked up, and then it's just shooting fish in a barrel.
Credit to Stone Mage, exactly where he needs to be. And also Fabulous and GBM, the Gnar herders there on the top side. Say, hey, don't go that way. Come here. Come here to the people who want to kill you, little Yordle.
He flashes that way, too. It's just...
I mean, can you blame him? I would have done the same thing if I didn't have the vision, man. You see 2 ults that you have to walk through, or the clear, safe river, Zyrene.
Yeah, the clear, safe...
with a very angry...
At that point, you have to do it reactionarily, right? You have to look for who is he actually coming through.
Yeah.
But this says it's kind of a no-brainer, but he would be coming through mid.
Ramune going to die here in the 1v1 if he can't make it out. Does get out in the end, but GBM clearly not afraid of the karma whatsoever. And while the CS might not be massively different, 3-0-1 the score for GBM. Karma going to deal a little bit of damage. Hold in the middle of everything, now unstoppable. GBM says, sure, bring me back into the team. I'll do a little bit more damage. Gang now trying to run for his life. His next auto attack will stun. And in the meantime, the tower's still getting hit down because no one is auto-attacking the Rift Herald. And everything going in the favor of SuperMassive. Pentagram grasping at straws, once grasping at straws, trying to get something back.
And if he goes for an engage, he's just going to die. They're going to throw themselves on the other side. There's some extra minions there. GP in the top lane, going to get that turret.
Once.
He's hunted.
GBM is totally just stalking his prey right now. Zyrene's 6K gold lead even before 20 minutes. Double Cloud just so they can run between these lanes even faster. And look at Paz. From going toe-to-toe in this lane matchup to hiding and waiting to catch the wave. He has no idea where the enemies are. A grim fate for Pentagram in the LJL.
And they had gotten the flash out of Fabulous via ganks twice. They weren't able to capitalize on it. Still has 0 deaths. And SuperMassive, they kept 3 of their members from before. They only added Snowflower and GBM. And you heard in that post-game interview from earlier that adding GBM added to their macro game. It added to the way that they play the map. And we're seeing that in full effect in this game, that Snowflower knows how to engage and where to be. And then GBM is just bringing this kind of level where he's able to roam and go from the mid lane to affect the entire map. That's something I think we aren't seeing enough of in this play-in stage, is mid laners, when they get an advantage mid, affecting other lanes.
And honestly, Turkey as a whole just continues to improve. It feels like every time they set foot on the international stage, proving themselves once again. As far as emerging region goes, they're just about second to none. Or at least not going to be second to Pentagram so far. Pentagram, though, we've seen. I mean, they were not the clear favorites in their own region, right? But when it came down to it, when it came down to the final, they were able to take down Detonation Focus 3-0. Cleaned house, Zyrene. And I feel like that's what we need to see here. We need to see them turn this around. We need to see them show us more, because right now, they're just getting outclassed across the board.
Yeah, it's not going to get much better in this game right now. 6,000 gold advantage for SuperMassive with the Baron on the table, and that's what they love to play around. But the composition just has so much damage in it. Pentagram aren't tanky enough just yet, and that's kind of what they have to look for here, is just scaling up, but not give up a lot during that time. And look at this. Meanwhile, Yutori's like pushing top, pushes it to the turret, doesn't even stick around because he can't. Even though he has vision control, he doesn't even get to deal damage to that turret. Meanwhile, Zeitnot gets to almost take the turret on the bottom side, so they're just hemorrhaging objectives here from the side of Pentagram.
Yeah, we talked about Pentagram and the LJL trying to play, death by 1,000 cuts. SuperMassive trying to play death by like 7. They are hacking away at Pentagram. Now they're going to grab an Ocean Drake as well. You have to feel like Baron is the next objective on the table. SuperMassive don't want to risk the 50-50. They see the Zac on the opposite side. They know that steal could be easy for him. A quick get in and get out. But GBM smells blood in the water, wants to take that jungler off the board, secure that Baron for his team.
I think this game is now going to start looking exactly like the previous one.
And Snowflower catching him up, using the CC together. Easy pick off there in the mid lane. Don't need Baron now because they get that tier 2 Zyrene.
Yeah, but that's that combination. Snowflower is just pulling the trigger, the taunt, or the charm, plus the knockup, and then Stonemage was right there to snag Ramune before he could even ulti. Or I guess flash.
Forced to use the ult early, now has to flash out to safety. GBM maybe looking for a way into the backside of the the team. They are going to get 1 kill onto Snowflower, but GBM's right there on the 80 carry. It's too easy for him. Brings one home. Paz doesn't have any MR. This is a terrible situation to be in. The snare comes through. Zaynot's feeling himself. He flashes over that wall. He wants one more. There's the 4th shot. Walking forward. Bang, baby. Double kill. Bring it home once. Desperate to find a duel, but that is a GP. You are but a humble Zach. He's going to make it out with his life, but nothing else.
And this is such an awkward formation, but SuperMassive. They go right in. Zaynot even flashes over the wall just to continue it. They're going to break the base in 23 minutes.
Irene, they've got a 10K gold lead. They don't even need the Baron. They're breaking down the base. They're ahead in every single roll. They cannot be stopped at this point.
And you saw GBM. You said it. He's feeling himself. He's feeling fantastic. Very aggressive in that play. He went in. I want to see this one more time. Snowflower with the pick, but then it's just the capitalization afterwards. Flash with the charm, with the knockup into Stone Mage after the root from GBM. That was a CC chain that was perfect.
There's nothing that can be done. You can see this here. Every piece of CC, no matter how small, forces some kind of ability from Yutori Moyashi. It's the flash, it's the ulti, and you just...
Yeah. And then he's stuck. He's going to get just chained down by GBM, who realm warped in, and Zaynot's like, I got to help GBM. Gets in there, flashes. He's like, all right, boom.
Gotta pad that KDA. Locking it up, and boom, 4-shot, man. Making it easy. That's the Swifties we talked about.
Yeah, but that's always one of the things as well is communication. When you always have a team that brings in Korean imports, the big thing you have to look at is the communication. GBM, it's showing that he can definitely communicate with this team, that the team has his back, that they aren't afraid to go aggressive like that, and there's no hesitation between these kind of rotations and the aggressive plays they're making.
And we think back, as far as regions go for implementing Korean players in and for really making it work in their lineups, TCL has been one of the most successful. We think back to 1907 Fenerbahce,
Yep.
Frozen in the mid lane.
I think 7 of their 8 teams have Korean imports on them right now.
And really making it work, because we've seen a lot of regions actually struggle. CB Law, for example, went through this phase where they imported so many Koreans that it didn't really work for them. But SuperMassive definitely making it work as they force yet another flash, start to siege up onto this tier 2.
And I would say as well that a lot of kind of questions came about the Korean imports that they picked. Because Snowflower, he was a great playmaker, but there wasn't really a whole bunch that he was able to accomplish back on Jin Air and Afrika. And even GBM, who spent some time in North America on Energy, and then he went to E United in the Challenger Series, right? And so picking up these Korean imports that hadn't had a lot of success in the past, when there are people out there that are kind of like going to like LPL and stuff, it's like it's a big risk to take, but it seems like it's a good fit stylistically for these two guys, because SuperMassive are constantly aggressive.
And also, if I just showed you Snowflower's numbers across the LCK, I mean, he played on losing team after losing team. You wouldn't see anything there, but the time, the diligence spent to research and actually figure out that this guy is quite a talented player is a good look. And now the engages just keep coming. That's an unstoppable once, but he's pulling multiple members back in team. Maybe this is the chance for Rampage. Or rather, Pentagram. They pull through. TP now coming in. There's Fat Fabulous off to the side. They want to lock him down. Curtain Call comes out. Sacrificial Cow will come through in the end, but SuperMassive, once again, with a small advantage.
And that looked like a fight that Pentagram, if they had all committed to the left side of it, could potentially win. But the GP ultimate from Fat Fabulous is just, that's the difference maker there. He put it right in the choke point. Everybody's forced to get out instead of go in, and GBM was flanking with his ultimate. So the two solo laners of SuperMassive, their ultimates have been so good this game.
And this Baron at this point is just free. Every member ahead of their respective role. You can see 1.5 item lead for 80 carry alone. Of course, Karma doing what she can to buff that up, make up the difference in the Ardent Sensor, but it just means she's that much further behind against the Rise. Zyrene, this is an absolute stomp. 14K gold lead, 12-1. Verge of a perfect game if it weren't for that kill.
Oh, the E is down there from once. He has to use the Unstoppable. Throws him in. And then I thought Yutori might be able to go forward after the root, because he still has ultimate and could auto-attack from there and potentially kill Snowflower. And Snowmage isn't, like, he isn't healthy enough. So I thought it would be a commitment to the left side, but they run to the right, and Fat Fabulous is there to clean up alongside GBM, who realm warps in.
And honestly, at this point, Zyrene, it doesn't feel like there's a good choice. There's just shades of bad choices, because no matter what happens, they're just so far ahead. Because if you had stayed in that choke point, GP finishes that TP, I mean, you can't stand on top of a GP barrel when he has Sterix and Trinity Force at this point in the game.
I don't know if he's, that's the thing, he's like, you gotta be like, he can't have that barrel up fast enough. We gotta kill the barrel. Gotta like contest it, right?
Tori Moyashi would have to focus on killing these people while also simultaneously auto-attacking every single GP barrel to come through. And this man is a powerhouse for sure, but at a certain point you're just asking too much of him. He's already the single damage threat on this very tanky composition.
Which is probably too much to ask in the first place, but they're gonna look for Zeitnot once.
This is the connection. Are going to try to pull people back. Maybe this is enough to Northern Chain. CC, that's the shutdown. This might just be the turn for Pentagram, but Fab Fabulous is simply too strong. Repairing and bringing it home. The Zeke's convergence means he just tears through everybody. And oh, what's that in the picture-in-picture? It's GBM split pushing on the top side of the map. He cannot be stopped. So despite what looked good to start, the 80 carry being picked off, no one else will drop, and SuperMassive are cutting through inhibitors. Snowflower bobbing, weaving his way through the team, looking for the 3-man charm. Only going to hit 2, and that is going to result in the kill, as well as 2 inhibitors. The third to follow may just set their eyes on the Nexus instead.
Yeah, they're going to keep pushing and potentially just close this out and go 2-0.
And it would be a fantastic start, Zyrene. Once leaps in one more time. But it doesn't matter. Could be too little too late. The bottom lane is here. Last chance, last dance for Yutori Moyashi. Has the extra support as well. Can he cut through Snowflower? Feathers fly, but will not connect in the end. Fires him just shy of the other team. Has to get out. The QSS. GBM wants it. Isn't going to find it quite yet. And Fab Fabulous, he's got his eyes on the prize. GBM wants the style, but it's going to cost him. Game still ended in the favor of SuperMassive.
16-3, 29 minutes. A fast game for the play-in stage. A SuperMassive move to 2-0.
An absolute stomp, Zyrene. From the jungling at the start, Stomage dictated the pace, and you can see those little advantages. SuperMassive so proficient at snowballing them through.
It's just such a great composition as well. I think so far, SuperMassive have had some of the better drafts that we've seen, where they're focusing the bottom lane. They know exactly what their win condition is, and they're using their solo laners to enable Zeitnot, who has been called probably the best AD carry in the play-in stage.
And just fantastic performance across the board. And this is something similar that we saw in Group A, where it was the consistently new and innovative draft, focusing on a specific win condition from Gambit that actually helped put themselves at the top of the group. And now the rest of the team for SuperMassive well on that path. So it feels like they are getting closer. And on the side of Rampage, you know, we wanted to see more. We wanted to see kind of this redemption story. Or rather, for Pentagram, excuse me. We wanted to see this redemption story, and it just has not happened yet. Both of the games, the first one, close. The second one, an absolute slaughter, Zyrene.
Yeah, and they had to play them back-to-back, which is definitely demoralizing. You want some time to go ahead and kind of regroup from what had happened. And this was a game where it got really out of hand really fast. There was kind of the collapses that happened. The bottom lane got shut down. And at the end there, I think Fab Fabulous is actually one of the standout players in this game. The placements of his ultimate, and then the fact that he was able to kind of just take over those team fights later is what broke the game open to make it a 29-minute game.
And also, you talk about setting up Zeitnot. Let's take a look at that 16-minute double kill brought to you by Acer Predator. This one, I mean, just so clean in the end.
This was so good because they had ganked top lane. Just then, they had killed Paz, and then they go to the bottom side. The TP comes in from the Rise, and then he's able to just flash over and continue this, and they just set up the kills. It's just so well played with the CC chain coming out, making sure that Yutori can't even use his ultimate.
And we talked about this being a horrifying composition to play Jhin against until they burn their cooldowns. The second they burn their cooldowns, they can't touch you. They don't have any damage, and you just get to walk through these fights. And of course, at the end of the game, Yutori getting blown up right at the end, just a brutal way.
Like, watch Yutori here, because this is the one where they grab Zeitnot in, but they also grab Fab Fabulous. Oh, standing at the wall? Boom, boom. He killed him from like 70% HP.
He didn't even wait for the bullet to hit. He flashed to hit him with the sword. Just insult to injury.
He basically comboed it, right? Just the Q and the flash and the hit. Because if Yutori lives there, they get to defend.
I don't want to say that this is a trend that people should learn from, but every time you try to CC Fab Fabulous, he just holds the CC until you take a step forward and kills you.
Yeah, even though he wasn't primarily playing the carries in the top lane, it was mostly tank duty for him, he's showing that he can play those tanks, play it and take it away from carry top laners, and play it to much success as well.
going toe-to-toe with the best here at MSI. Well, in just a few minutes, we'll get an interview with GBM before Kaboom and Direwolves take to the stage. All that's coming up right after this.
See some gank back.
Oh, wrong.